It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. There's a reason rappers can turn any story into a hit track. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 1,000 attorneys and more than 100 offices nationwide. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, your case could be worth millions. But the truth is, a lot of people either don't file at all or get taken advantage of by insurance companies. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. If you're injured because of someone else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. No shortcuts, no lowball offers. In fact, they've secured some major verdicts in the past. For example, in Florida, they got a victim who was in a life-altering car crash, $12 million. 34 times the highest insurance offer. They got another victim in Philadelphia, $26 million. 40 times the highest insurance offer. Not all law firms are created equal. Morgan & Morgan is the biggest for a reason. They will fight for the biggest award possible and have won a lot. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless you win. That's right, no upfront costs. They only get paid if you get paid. You can start your claim now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen from your phone's camera. Again, if you find yourself injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Don't say I never told you nothing, man. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about independent artist Russ, okay? And the reason we're going to be talking about Russ is because he came out and criticized Roc Nation for their new, I guess, rollout of Roc Nation distribution. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you would know within the last year or so, I actually spoke about Roc Nation distribution. I have a video kind of breaking down their first iteration about a year ago. They've made a lot of updates with the server, the website, they partnered, all that different stuff. I believe Idris Sandu actually played a role in reconstructing this, the new layout of Roc Nation. If you're not familiar with Idris Sandu, he was affiliated with Nipsey Hussle. Before he passed, he was the one that was doing a lot of work with the Marathon and the Marathon store, and like, you know, having the clothes on display to where you could put your camera on it and make a purchase on your phone and all that different stuff. He since has been closely affiliated with Jay-Z in some of his business endeavors, entrepreneurial ventures and things of that nature. They work very closely now. So I saw Idris Sandu the other day posted about Roc Nation coming out and having some sort of announcement on the 17th. The announcement is that their new distribution is fully ready to be rolled out. I think there was like a beta phase. I was a part of that beta phase, as a matter of fact, so I was able to kind of see what was going on. I got to witness some of the headaches. At one point, I got locked out of the distribution portal as they were changing servers, and it was hard for me to get back in. It was hard for me to get Big Dog cleared for YouTube use, because I actually released my song Big Dog through Roc Nation distribution. And although I did not want it to be under Content ID for whatever reason it was, I tried to reverse the Content ID, and that shit was a fucking headache. I still don't think I was able to get it out of Content ID, as a matter of fact. So that was a bit of a bump in the road for me. To give them some grace, they're a brand new player in the, independent self-serve distribution model. They're going to have a lot to learn. They're going to need feedback. They're going to need market research. They're going to need people that are willing to sign up and test it out and give them actual real life information about how their platform works. Otherwise, it'll never grow into what it needs to. But with that being said, Russ came out after the announcement and basically was letting artists know that he disagreed with their policy. So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all what that policy is that he's disagreeing with, and then we're going to get into Russ' statements. All right, So here it says Rock Nation has officially launched its own distribution platform, which has actually been active for over a year. But again, I think that was the beta phase. So with that being stated, they're doing 85% royalty payouts paid monthly, which is the source of contention with Russ, the 85%. Okay, they distribute to 200 plus platforms, have a central dashboard for social streaming and audience data, no upfront costs, signups open now. All right, so because they're not charging you any upfront costs, meaning you don't have to pay a monthly fee, you're not paying outright a yearly fee or anything like that. In exchange, they're taking 85% of the royalty payouts. All right, and that payment comes monthly. You get your 85%, they take their 15. Okay. Which for smaller artists, if you don't have a lot of streams coming in, you don't get a lot of royalties, that 15% that you're giving up may not be all that substantial. But if you ever do come into an abundance of streams and royalties, it will, right? And that is where Russ has his issue. So he comes out and says an 85-15 split to press upload is madness. Major labels take 15% distro off the top two, so it seems like they just modeled the business off of that. If you're an artist, this makes no sense to sign up for, in my opinion. And I'm not gonna lie with you, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I actually agree with Russ. Okay. Y'all know Jay-Z is my favorite rapper. And there's a lot of artists that have gone through the Rock Nation pipeline that I am fans of. And generally, I want to see Jay-Z and his endeavors do well. But I do agree with Russ that 85% royalty payout just to press upload is indeed madness. You know, I released Big Dog through Rock Nation Distribution just as a tester. It's something that I do and have been doing for years. If you go through my old videos when I did more music education content, I reviewed TuneCore, I reviewed Venice Music, I reviewed DistroKid, I reviewed Two Lost Distribution. If they were out there, I talked about them, I reviewed them, I told people the pros and cons, right? So as with Rock Nation, as their distribution platform, they are not exempt from people like myself, Russ, or anybody coming out and saying, these are the pros and cons. Again, they're going to need market research to know what is it that artists want, need, and what is going to be feasible, you know, for us to compromise on so that we can actually build. So Russ ain't wrong, right? Major labels take 15% distribution off top two, but keep in mind what major labels do, right? They pay artists. They give you an advance. They give you well, not really a signing bonus, but an advance nonetheless. They give you a marketing budget. They get your music to the radio if you're a radio artist, right? They have the partnerships to get your music in TV, film, etc. if your music is, you know, viable in those places. They may pay for you to do music videos. They have the partnerships in place for you to go out and tour or get a separate touring deal, which they might take a cut of, right? They have all of these different areas in which on paper, it would justify whatever the label's taken out of the artist's pocket. Now, we know artists typically don't see any money after they get an advance, regardless of how much money they make for the label, because the labels are doing predatory practices on artists. We know that. We talk about it. We hear artists talk about it all the time. But for a distribution company to take 15% and they're not providing you with any of those particular benefits, then they're basically taking 15% just off the principle of the name of we're Rock Nation, give us 15%. And because you're not paying an upfront fee. Now, with most other self-serve independent distribution companies, you would pay like a monthly fee. You might pay $10 a month. You might pay $19 a month. You might pay $50 a year, like over at TuneCore, right? Russ is over at TuneCore. He's been promoting TuneCore for years. He's talked about how much money he's made on TuneCore, which is millions of dollars off of independently releasing his music. He's even shown the screenshots, right? So, as an independent artist who's found his way, found the company that he prefers, and it doesn't cost him much of anything, he's like, dog, I know the other side of this. And giving up 15% for nothing is crazy. Some people didn't like that Russ came out and said this. So this person, Trust My Ears, says, I mean, if you want major distribution, you got to pay the fee. If you say all major labels do this, I don't see anything wrong with Roc Nation doing it as well. And I want to go ahead and address this before I get into Russ' statement. For artists like The Clips, who are on Roc Nation distribution, Megan Thee Stallion, who they say released her latest single through Roc Nation distribution through her own company. For allegedly Stove God Cooks, who might be doing a deal with Roc Nation. For artists that are going and doing a direct distro deal where you're able to go to the Roc Nation offices, have meetings, talk about how you want to market your project. Yes, having a distribution fee, giving them 15%, that makes sense. But again, if you're an independent artist who is not in contact with Roc Nation, you just sign up and want to get your music out there by uploading it, it's probably not the most beneficial way of going about it. You know? Because let's just do a comparison, right? If you get no streams, you get nothing. 15% of nothing is nothing, right? They can't really shit on you about that. But let's say you're an artist who has a moderate following, and between today and let's just say, I don't know, April 1st of next year, you make $100,000 in streams. And then Roc Nation takes $15,000 off rip, but they didn't help you do a motherfucking thing, right? You ain't never met with nobody over there. They don't even know who you are. They just pocketed $15,000 because you used their system, right? But let's say if you go to another distribution platform in the market, you get that same $100,000. You're not giving up 15%. You're not giving up $15,000 because all you're paying is $50 per year. And this is 15% in perpetuity. As long as you're releasing your music through Roc Nation, as long as your music is housed. And that's the thing. The housing fee is really what gets you. Because you're not just uploading your music for people to listen to it on Friday. It's got to live on the Rock. It's got to live on streaming platforms or whatever platforms people are using to get to your music forever, right? So as long as your music is up and it's being serviced through Roc Nation, they're going to continue to eat that 15%. So if you make $100,000 between now and April, they get $15,000. And then if from May to December, you make another $100,000, they're going to get another 15. So then they make 30 off of you and they still ain't did shit. So yeah, Russ ain't wrong. So he says here, major label distribution comes bundled with major label services, a team, radio, marketing, global offices, sales teams, editorial leverage, etc. Roc Nation Distro platform is a self-serve uploader with none of those services and yet charging the same 15% major labels do. The economics don't make sense when the entire market norm is 0 to 10% and only charging percentage when they add services. And of course, those services see back up here. Another person says they don't take upfront payments or subscription fees for the service. You wanted them to offer the service for free? He gets further into what I was saying. A $50 annual fee versus 15% of your entire catalog's revenue are not remotely comparable. One is a fixed cost, the other is a tax on your entire career. Free to upload is the okie doke. Fixed fees protects artists. Percentages drain artists. If you make $1,000 a year, 15% equals $150. You've already paid damn near 3 times the cost of any flat fee distributor. And of course, putting it at $1,000 a year makes it more economical to the average artist. Even making $1,000 a year off streaming is a tough task if you don't have an audience. But again, you could pay $50 and retain all of your 100% of your royalties, or you could give them 150 and it continues to go up as you make more money. Honestly, it doesn't make sense. Just is what it is. So yeah, at this current state, I gotta agree with Russ, man. Rock Nation is new. They new booty on the block. You can say pause if you want to. It just is what it is. They coming in and asking for more than what the rest of the platforms that are out there are asking for. It's not going to fare well, in my opinion. There's too many other options out there. There's too many other options that are established. You still got symphonic distribution. You still got so many others that actually give services to the artists. There's platforms out here that are willing to upstream. If you build a buzz on your own, they're going to contact you. They're going to find ways to like, hey, let's figure out how to get you touring. Let's figure out how to get you a management team or a booking agent, or let's that song that's going viral. It's a perfect opportunity. We could get that synced in a movie or a TV show or an advertisement, a commercial for you, right? It's too many platforms out here that offer those types of services for Rock Nation to just come out, stand on the block and say, I need 15% of your money, regardless of how much you make. It's just like the dope game. You know what I mean? Jay-Z damn sure is not going to step on nobody's block and be cool with them saying, I need 15 just for you standing out this bitch. It ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna have to revise this idea. The no upfront cost thing, yeah, that might be appealing for artists who are like really down bad, who don't have $10, $20 a month or $50 for an annual payment. And I understand it. You know what I mean? Once upon a time, I might have been that guy. You get what I'm saying? I get it. But over time, as you grow, as you learn more about the business, as you equip yourself as an independent artist, if you plan to be that for the long haul, you're not going to want to keep giving up 15% unjustly. The streaming platforms and iTunes and Apple and Spotify, they're already taking 30% off rip for housing it. So whatever's left after that, it makes no sense to give it to Rock Nation. You know what I mean? And that's as a person who fucks with Rock Nation. You get what I'm saying? They're just going to have to revise the business model. Because who's going to leave where they are currently just to give up more money without benefits? Makes no sense. All right? I had to do this. This video, I know, is not about any drama. It's not about any music. It's not about anything in particular. But these are the things that get my wheels turning. I get excited because people need to know. And you don't want to be fooled just because you think you're associating yourself with Rock Nation. Rock Nation don't give a damn about you or your music. Okay? But one day, maybe they will. And when they do, they'll change that fucking policy. All right? I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good out there. And if I happen to get an email or something or a text or somebody, just know we're going to work it out. Don't worry about me. I'll see y'all in a minute, though. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'll never politic and the drama be piling on. Father and greats unacknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. this the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy cause consulting for the stacks I built. I had